What's up, guys? Keith Trade. Today is August 6th, and we're going to go over our 3 for 3 day. And I want to do an in-depth analysis, breaking down every bit of my setups, my analysis, my thought process. This will be a long and in-depth video, but I promise you guys will get a lot of value from it. Right, so coming into my pre-market plan, right, my long plan and my short plan. Right, let's get right into that before I break down what I was looking at. So coming on the higher time frames from today, right, number one, understanding that we have not a true daily fair value gap, but a narrative daily here. Why is it a narrative daily? On the 1 hour, we see we have this gap. This gap is a liquidity point of a lack of orders. So that is the fill point, right? As you can see on the charts, I said if we buy through the 4 hour, I want to see what? 18,437. So what is 18,437? Right, here's your first target to fill in the daily. 18,437 comes on the 1 hour. Right, and it's simply these highs, right? All these highs here coming in the day, right? These highs, these are all targets. Mainly this high, right? To fill what? This gap. And this is where we had the pre-market high. Right, 1 hour fair value up here. This would be a short target to fill. Never happened. And I called at a 4 hour play point. Right, that 4 hour is just this gap. So number one thing is this: if we find a buy model, your first target would be what? To fill into the 4 hour. As you can see, my long plan, 18,257 into the 4 hour. That's what I'm talking about, right? So I said this: if we break structure to the upside, we hit here. If we do what? Find buying through the 4 hour, which we did, we hit what? Targets higher. My short plan was very simple. I either wanted to see us rip down off the open and hit my targets, right? Which is very simple target, right? What is my target? 18,016, and obviously lower, the 1 hour fill. 18,016, very simple. It is just the immediate low from pre-market. Whoops. So just this low here. Pre-market low. So now that we've set the stage for our data, my plan is very simple. Either we break off open and run the low, or I want to see a break of structure long to reprice to here. If we buy through, I look for here. That's my plan for the day. Let's get right into our setup. Right, very simple setup today. Right, I end up taking the shorts off open to run to these lows. Why? So I want to teach you guys this concept. It's called stacked liquidity. So when we see all of these lows stack, this is generated sell side. So when we do come to run them, we're going to run them all out of the water, right? And that would look something like this low, right? 18,052 low. And then obviously pre-market low, right? So this is my narrative plan. So let's get into my structure for the setup, right? This is a 15-minute setup. Very simple setup. As you can see, this 15-minute high, we do what? Sweep it. How do I know if it's buy side sweep or break a structure? I would want to see this high get broken, and we see what? Continuation to the upside. Never happened. We instead did what? Break down. And where do we break structure? Through this swing low. Right? Confirmed by what? The candle closure below. So now I'm looking for a play point, somewhere to play the market off of. And I always look for what? A 15 or 5 minute fair value up. Today we had a 15. So coming in the session, we open up here at this 15. Let's go back on the 1 minute. Now let's make it more clear. So we know pre-market, we've swept buy side, we broke structure. Here's a 15-minute fair value gap. So we are already playing within a fair value gap. And I know that we have all these stacked liquidity points as my targets. Right? So what is my points of entry? Right? I like this. This is a fake break of structure to the upside. Right? Fake break of structure. Once I see this bullish fair value gap here form, that is my area of interest. Right when we close below, I set my limit order here, and I'm filled. As you can see, if we go to our chat, proof of fills right here. 18,126.50 entry. Right? Which is this point here. Target's very simple. It can be this low. You can scale based off of price points. This low, right? Internal low. And then what? pre-market low. Obviously, runners can run to my final target. That banged nicely. Right, so that's my clear plan for the day. This is what I'm looking at. And a very efficient delivery, 60 points, 74 to 108. Right, that's a very great call. That's my first trade of the day. Nice win. Right, I ended up getting this call out for the longs, but no member ended up taking that, which is okay. But let's go into why I called that out. Right, I said here at 6:58 a.m. I said 18,254 into 4 hour looks good. Why did I call that at 6:58? Right, 18,254 is what? Just to fill into the 4 hour. Why did I call that point? Very simple, guys. Now we have a power of 3. We see the accumulation, and then we see we've already manipulated sell side. If we would see a break of structure, we would deliver down to the 1 hour, which never happened. Right? Instead, we formed what? 5-minute fair value gap here. Right, so what would I look for on the 1 minute? A bearish to form or a bullish to get inversed. We had a small bearish get inverse or bullish form, but we didn't really end up getting a setup here. Right, the setup came here. This is the one I called for. Unfortunately, no member took this. I mean, I already took my trades for the day. No member took this one, but again, here's a setup of this. We already know we respected the 5-minute fair value gap. We already know we're bullish model to reprice to the 4 hour. Right, so what is your entry model? Internal low, liquidity sweep. If this was breaker structure, what do you see? Continuation to run lower. Play point, inverse fair value gap. We close above. Get your entry long on this candle. You put your stop below the 1 minute fair value gap or here. Target has called out 18,254. Why did I call it out at 6:58 a.m.? Why? That was when we broke structure and formed the 5-minute fair value gap. So I know if we respect it, we're going to run higher. And that's exactly what we did. Right? No one took this trade. I did not take this trade as I already banked ridiculous on this. I wasn't willing to give up my profits for the day. But let's go into my PM session trade. This PM session trade, we had a member capitalize on a 230 profit on his funded, up 900 in total. Right? And called it out. Whoops, wrong chat. Called it out here. Right? I said 18,254 into 4 hour looks nice. That hits. I said 18,437 is the next target. Right? Why is 18,437 the next target? Right? Because that is the pre-market high on the 1 hour, right? The pre-market high to fill back into the daily, to fill back into this gap, new week opening gap. That's the narrative for that trade. Right, and what points of interest are we looking at on that? Very simple, right? Models, long models all the way through. But we didn't end up taking that. We ended up taking a continuation model and playing the market tight on this trade. Right? So PM session hits, I hop on around 10:30. As you can see, we're in this, I'm going to erase these, we're in this 5-minute fair value up here. And we've already delivered targets. So what's going to tell me that market continues higher is I need some sort of narrative. Right? So if I go on the 1 minute, I see this whole consolidation range. So I'm waiting for a move outside the range. So once I see this low get broken and we ended up sell side sweeping it, right? If I wanted to see short, what I look for? Continuation lower. Right here, we broke structure on this candle, and we have what now? An inverse. So like I said, what do I look for when I look for a fair value that gets respected? A bullish to get formed or a bearish to get what? Inversed. Here's your bearish fair value gap. Closed above it here, closed above it here. Get your long entry. Where are your targets? Internal high number 1. And then obviously a new high on the day. Ended up hitting the internal high for 24 points. I ended up catching 20. I put my stop to break even. The rest gets out. And then market, delivers higher. Totally fine. That's that trade. Right, so those are the calls and the trades that we took today. And we can go over YK's trade. Right, he's an ES trader. And he was a 5-minute trade a day. Right, same narrative. He saw the liquidity sweep here. Whoops. He saw the liquidity sweep at this low. He saw this bearish, 5 minute, fine buying. So he called 5 minute inverse long, right? He calls it an inverse long, but inverse would be close above. He calls it when he sees a market buy straight through it, right? So where is his point of entry, right? Go on the 1 minute. Once he sees respect and sellers crack, he calls it at 652. So he calls it when this candle opens, his long. He got entries around the open of the candle, around here, and he caught about 16 points. So probably up to this high, right? All the proof of fills are posted on my on our IG, but the gist of it, I called for an ES 5275 target because it was ripping. What is 5275? This high here, this 1 hour high, buy side high, and then obviously target tower would be this high, right? Now look at that. So yeah, his trade went for 16 points. All the proof fills are posted, ended up running for over 30, right? But that is August 6th analysis. We ended up going 3 for 3 today on trades. I tried to break it down as slow as possible. Make sure you guys understand every point I'm trying to hit. Hope this was educational. I hope this is helpful. But yeah, this is my model, guys. This is exactly what we trade, exactly how we trade, and this is how we seek profitability. Currently, we are sitting at a 35 for 40 win rate. I think it's about an 87% win rate. So that's very beautiful stuff. And thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment. We're going to keep on killing, keep on getting better.